This video is just to show this photography backdrop system I'm putting in for one of my customers. She's moving out of her office space where she has to pay rent, and wisely coming into her garage to save that kind of money, that whatever rent she's paying. So the old system was these manual ones. You see that blue pole chain right there? I put those up. And I used 2 layers of 3/4 inch good one-side plywood. It actually turned out to be good 2-side plywood. And I mounted it on plywood because the studs, the first plywood underneath mounts to the studs, and then where the bracket's sitting right now, there's no stud to attach to. So I either had to use some wall anchors that are rated for carrying lots of weight on the drywall, or I put on plywood like that. This is stronger. So, and it's also kind of difficult to use the various kinds of wall anchors that come out, toggle bolts and that sort of a thing. So that's the old system. It's manual, a pull chain. She's putting up a new system here. It's a motorized system. That's the end without the motors. Those plastic grommets in the middle, there's 8 of them. They swivel, so they rotate, so you can get the backdrop in. Here's one of the backdrops. The motor's right there. Tiny little motor. It plugs in to the system through this cord. And then it's got switches, 8 switches for up and down for each one of these backdrops. So these are 10-foot backdrops, and they weigh about 80 pounds, 100 pounds. So each side of this system's got to carry around 400 pounds. And I put in 5-inch lag bolts all along. You can see them there. There's 12. And I'll show you outside in a minute. But because the way the roof is framed, I just figured that out. The trusses don't go all the way over like I was expecting. You can see some holes that I put in there. I had the centerpiece. See right there? Right there's the holes. So I had that centerpiece all the way to the wall, so I could hook on to another wood frame, but it was absent. And I'll show you on the roof why that is. But anyways, I've got, looks like, you can count them there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 lag bolts in there, threads all the way to the hilt to hold that up. I did a chin up on the thing. It's fine. It's got to hold twice as my weight, but I'm fully confident it's going to, because those are 5-inch lag bolts in there. It was a challenge because of the way the roof is framed. The trusses are different. I'll show you outside. They don't all go like this, like you'd expect a typical house. On that end, they don't, and I'll show you why. So here's the outside of the house. As you can see, the roof has all kinds of fancy structure to it, and that's why the trusses don't line up. It slopes on a number of sides there, and there's a little hutch on the end, I guess you would call that one. That doesn't affect my work, but so that's the reason why I had a challenge finding trusses to nail into. So I really had to feel it out. What I did is I pilot holed through the 2x8 and on these guys, and then I continued on through the drywall, and if I could feel the truss, then I knew I hit places where, like these places over here on the end of the wall. I continued on through the end of the truss, through my 2x8 and in through the drywall, and I could feel there's nothing in there. So that's how I determined where these go, even though they look a little bit off kilter. I measured each one with a stud finder, and they all connected. I could feel it. So on this side here, she wanted to have basically the backdrop to line up there, so she has room for a light down here. And so all I'm going to do now is just measure off of that according to the length of this new backdrop system, 10 feet, and position the other one, which is going to be basically right on the middle of those. There's 3 green tapes there, you see, and there's a big long crack in the drywall. That's going to be roughly the center, or where the plate's going to sit on the other motorized end. So there's the plate there with all these 8 grommets in there. So the plate on this side, I just measured it over to sit on there. So it's a job what required, basically, I'm the kind of guy who MacGyvers and feels my way through stuff. I'm a lousy planner. And I've managed to do good. My 3rd year electrical teacher said Curtis has got his own way of doing things, but he gets the job done. And I got an A in that grade, and it was the hardest year of the electrical because it was intense theory calculations, math calculations.